Welcome back to Tales of Praxis, everyone. I'm Aaron Suduko, the founder of With a Terrible Fate. Well, if you've been on the journey so far with us, you know that last time we had the distinct privilege of finishing Tales of Symphonia's main storyline. What an ending it was, just as emotional and impactful as I remember it. Made all the more so, really, by being able to share it with all of you and talk through it in real time. So I want to thank you for that. That was really special. But because video games are an interactive medium and their narratives function based on choice and exploration, there's still plenty to do in the story that doesn't advance the main plot one lick, but can give us a lot more insight into the world and characters and everything like that. Because this stream was structured in such a way that we were really just going through and exploring the main story as it happened, there's some of that we might have missed and that became available in the world at various points throughout our journey. But like any good old-fashioned JRPG, Tales of Symphonia has a great post-game with a lot of that content that's still available to explore. So we are going to be moving on to the sequel, Tales of Symphonia 2, shortly. But first, I want to dedicate at least a little time to exploring those side quests and seeing what an old school JRPG like this can reveal about its story to us when we decide to explore it even further than the main story encourages us to. So I used to be able to do all of this, with my eyes closed and one hand tied behind my back, just based on how many times I had played this as a kid. But I do have to confess that I looked up a lot of side quest exploration and what to do and where to go to get it over the weekend. So I have my cheating cliff notes on an extra monitor here. So if you see me staring off into the distance as we're navigating through this, that's why. But wanted to be able to find stuff that I remembered from a kid as being really impactful to the story and rewarding. So that hopefully we'll be able to get some good story beats and interesting nuances to the story over our time together this stream. And if we have more to do after that, we might do another stream about it, or we can just move on to the sequel. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, we're definitely going to do Ambition. I don't know if I'll start with that, but definitely going to sorry. Man, I accidentally went into the New Game Plus screen. I have to exit out of this. Yeah, we're definitely going to do Ambition. I thought we might start with some of like the one-off scenes as opposed to going right into that, but I think we have most of the Devil's Arms already, so we'll definitely get to him. Niflheim is more of a maybe. It would be fun to do, but I don't know if we're going to get to that in addition to the rest of the side content that I want to get to in this stream. So we might have to put it off or make a judgment call. Let's try this again. Yeah, I did the equivalent Niflheim quest this morning, actually, in Tales of the Abyss. What do they call it? I think it's the replication lab or something like that. And I forgot how long those post-game dungeons can take, which is not to say that I'm averse to it, but it would be a time investment. So I put a lot of other stuff before it on the list, let's put it that way. What doesn't... I forget whether the Carlon emblem lets you warp now, before I go all the way back the long way. That would have been nice.
Let's get rid of him.
actually... Oh, embarrassingly, we don't even have the gold right now to do the first thing that was on my side quest list. But maybe we'll do some other ones and see if they net us any gold. The first thing was rebuilding Lewin. For anyone who's watching who's not familiar, you see this shortly, but if you remember that poor city from Silveron that early in the game is decimated by the designs because they're aiding and abetting people to escape from the ranch. It's actually an opportunity to restore the city to even better than it was in the first place. Yeah, so that'll probably not be the first thing because we're a little short. We have about a quarter of the gold that you actually need to build it up the whole way. But we can make it better than it is at least. It doesn't have to be purely completionist. Yeah, there are a few things that I know I'd like to get, like, there's another summon that we can get, an Exire, which is a nice kind of coda to Sheena's story. There's a really nice little, I don't know if I'd even call it a side quest, but a few scenes with Ewan that add a lot more information to his character and why he feels the way he does about Martel. So little things like that. We never went back for Clara, so definitely have to wrap that up.
Don't let up!
You all ready? Try this! Mirage Infliction!
Feels so weird going back to this gameplay after a weekend of Tales of the Abyss. Not that I think one combat system is better than the other, but it's like switching the hand you write with or something, just because everything plays and feels a little bit different in terms of the battle flows. There we go. If we decide to do Niflheim, we'll have to go all the way back to Vinheim, and therefore all the way back the way we just came. But again, I thought it would be nice to start with some shorter stuff. I think there's a scene we can trigger about Presea and Maltokio, so before we go to Lewin, well, we're already in Tethe'alla. Let me start there, because that's the first thing on my list besides Lewin. Yeah, I know. I just feel like going through a cheese circuit would be harder than just getting the gold, but we can see where we end up in terms of gold. You need like a specific dragon in the Earth Temple for that, don't you? And I heard they might have taken that out of this version. Well, no, I know what you mean. Yeah, it's like light cheese. Oh yes, I know. Believe me, I was refreshing myself on all of that this weekend. So if we decide we want to do that, we certainly can. These are kinds of scenes, like, so that little thing in this house that we would have had no other reason to go to is the first scene in like a small series of scenes that gives us like new perspective into Presea. But man, unless you were really combing over every area as you got to it as a kid, which granted I did back in the day, but otherwise, don't know how you would find this stuff without a guide or your friends telling you. Okay, we are going to Cyback next. And off to Cyback. Oh, she was their babysitter. It'd be really cold to shut her down in a quest line like this. I do like the little texture that this adventure is giving to Presea's character, because I feel like, maybe not everyone will agree with me, but I feel like it shows that she has a really healthy perspective on like reconciling her current self with her past self, where she really just feels as if she can think back on the past, but she also has to move on, and it's kind of a futile effort to integrate the past with her current life because she lost the time that's not coming back, right? Takes a lot of resolve to be able to meet those people again, but not reinstantiate yourself in their lives. It's her theme, her leitmotif. And that's really cool because it's like Presea gets to appreciate this echo of her former self and what it created in the world and the positive impact it had without, again, reaching back and trying to reclaim her past in a more tortured way. Yeah, it's a pretty devastating theme. I'm with you there. I really felt it. Speaking of pain in your chest, I felt the pain in my chest from that theme when you first see her carrying the sacred wood outside Meltokyo Castle. It's like, oh, you're gonna go through so many feelings with this girl. Alright. That wasn't bad. That took, what, like 15 minutes? For one? I'm looking at my list. We may have to dedicate a couple streams to this. Okay, the next one is also in Cyback. We might have missed the timing on it, but I want to check while we're here. It's a Sheena quest, if memory serves. Yep. All the feels. Every one of the party members is good for all the feels, but yeah, Presea hits different. Oh yeah, of course. If you're really in the mood for something, yeah, let me know. Shout it out. If we still have access to it and it's not a headache and I have to get to it, I'm happy to prioritize it. Okay, yes. We can definitely head to Exire next. Let me just see while we're here if we can do this. Student near the item machine. I don't know who that is. Yeah, I think we missed the cutoff for this one. This is such a classic Tales experience for me. It's like going back to all of the side quests that I missed at the end of the game and saying, okay, which ones still trigger? Which ones do I have to put on my list for New Game Plus? Need Origin? What do you, You mean to have made a pact with Origin? We did that in the main story. No, it was one of the things that I looked up because I also wanted to make sure we could do it. I'm not sure whether you need to have made the pact with Origin. What it says you need, which I totally would have forgotten, was you need a specific, 4 of the summon rings on your party members to get them to show up. But one of them might be the diamond from Origin. I don't remember. These landing prompts killing me. I will cross the side quests we did and failed to do off the list. Go down to Maxwell. There we go. get them equipped with the right stuff before this. Yeah, it doesn't look like you'd need Origin, because Opal, Aquamarine, wow, Ruby, and Garnet. I think those are just all the basic elements. Opal. Aquamarine. Guess we should keep the Blue Saphira equipped if we want a chance of rebuilding Lewin the pure gold-based way without making a bunch of rune bottles. Away we go. One who controls matter itself. Those rare cases in which one of your JRPG party members actually solves the JRPG puzzle for you. Thank you very much, Ray. Ha! But Lloyd knows, he knows we already went to the trouble. Love it when the game actually registers those things. They don't always, you know. Oh, you called it. We did have to prove our worth by making the pact with Origin. Good memory. This is interesting, though. I was talking way earlier in the stream that it was really interesting to me how all of the summon spirit battles and pacts were fully voiced, especially because they come after the seals in the Journey of Regeneration, which are not all voiced, but I guess they didn't voice Maxwell after all that, which is an interesting discrepancy. Old Man Max. You just wanted to hear this battle theme again. I think I forgot to heal the party before we started. Oh, that's alright. It's a great song.
Come, Origin!
Don't like that. Oh, it's also on our list to get this attack for Genus. But it's not so fun when you're on the receiving end of it. Oh, Jesus. I didn't realize Rena died.
Thank you. here. Be careful.
Oh,
Strong.
I get in the zone here. My problem is I beat the Tales of the Abyss superboss on my first try this morning, so I'm all cocky and no skills. I have to reset my expectations here.
Be careful. Rush! Spirit seal! Demon seal! Breath of life! Revitalize!
You got that, Just trying to think. None of our attacks would interrupt him.
Healing circle! Devastation! Thank you. Be careful. Ready? Field barrier!
I love how he's just like a giddy old man having fun for the first time in however many years since someone last showed up here. Just that little like flavor attacks voice that he has. Oh ho ho ho! Pure delight.
Are you all ready? Move on! Here I go! Mirage infliction!
You have to be close. I don't think he has that much HP.
Here, don't get in my way! Ready? Healing circle!
Yes, you did. Well, the text said that at least. That was one of those weird places where they added like text to the battle lines that didn't actually match what he was saying. Which I still don't totally understand why they did that. Ooh! Thanks, I hate it. When in doubt, spam Meteor Storm. Is the same strategy I would have. For a remaining genius. Which I usually do. I don't know why I gravitated away from him this time, except I just got really entranced with the Tough Allen characters' stories.
Here, I was on the way. Nurse!
Boy, Regal just cannot stay alive.
Thank you. Be careful. Devastation! Are you okay? Street demon! Demon seal! Here, nurse! Demon seal! Ready? Acuteness! Demon seal! Help is on the way. Healing circle! Demon seal! Field barrier! Devastate demon seal! Healing circle! Be careful! Rust! Demon seal! Rust! Spirit seal! Healing circle!
I'm tired of this nonsense.
I'm old. Going back to bed. Take a nap for a few more centuries. That does resonate really well for me with it being an optional battle. Like he's purely in it for fun, as opposed to being called to help save the world or defeat Mythos the way that the others are. Yeah, exactly. Okay, nap time. This is interesting. I feel like they don't say that much about this in this game, but it's interesting to me to think about the relationship between Maxwell and Origin, because they're both kind of gods among gods, right? Whereas the other summon spirits control particular elements, like Maxwell controls, is it supposed to be like fundamental physical particles or something? Something more elemental in the like basic element sense, that is. Whereas Origin he's like the king of the summon spirits, right? But he's also able to forge this sword that controls time and space. So they seem similar, or at least related. Yeah, kind of like they're double counting their god amongst gods, right? Seems like they do really similar work. Oh, like you're saying he controls all of the basic elements as opposed to a single one of them, whereas Origin is the king of all the summon spirits, including Maxwell. Is that what you're saying? Yeah, like time versus space. That's kind of what I was thinking too. Except that's weird because like the Eternal Sword is like it reshapes space itself in terms of the world's relationships to each other, right? Whereas if he were more of a time-based spirit, you'd think its power would be kind of different. I don't know, I'm still scratching my head a little on it, to be honest. Okay, her tech calls him the spirit of molecules, which would be like fundamental particles, like I was saying, where all of the elements are kind of derived from that. And then what is Origin? King of the spirits. So he's almost more like in a role of governance, Origin, like an authority figure, which would then make sense because like even the Eternal Sword, it's not so much like reshaping matter in the way that Maxwell would. It's more of like a decree that now the worlds are going to relate in this way rather than the way that the world had been before. That kind of makes sense to me. I could see those being distinct roles. Okay. Cross that one off. Oh, I was going to change Sheena's title too. Yeah, I think that's right. I think that I would call that the correct order of operations for them. See, we solved it. Just took more thought than you might expect. Okay. I'm a little worried we missed the timing for the other quest in XR, which is too bad. But we can check while we're here. It's interesting that their forms are indefinite, the summoned spirits, because they do definitely seem to have unique personalities and relationships with one another, so you would think that they were sort of independent entities with their own forms. Or maybe it's that they do have a form, but like what some religions say about angels and sort of spiritual beings, if they showed their true forms to humans, humans wouldn't be able to comprehend it, or they would die or what have you. Yeah. if displaying rain makes a difference, but no, I think we missed the timing on this. That is too bad. Cross off that quest. And cross off Maxwell. See, with a long list in front of me, this feels more like homework than the previous streams. It's all fun stuff, there's just so much of it to keep track of. Alright, the next one on my list was... I'm gonna put off... let's go back to Silverhunt. There are a couple good quests in there. Just gonna go to the Ewan one I was talking about and find Clara again. I think those will be good. This damn prompt to go in between worlds right there. There it is. Just have to be ready to not go into the base, since that's the first thing they give you. You want Haima next. Not having a quick jump in between cities does pad the playtime a little bit. Glad they added that to later games. Lloyd is severely food motivated, much like a dog. Maybe that's why Colette likes him so much, because she loves dogs. She's gone around the world naming the dogs. We solved it. Now in the postgame, we finally understand their relationship. It's a good question, Regal. Don't tell me I missed this too. I really would have thought they'd make this available in the postgame. Maybe it's just somewhere else in there. man. Well, Ewan was supposed to be here. There's another place we could try to find him, but based on how these quests usually go, I think if he's not showing up here, that means we missed it. Which is sad. I'll just say for people watching it who want the benefit of this, because it really impacted how I thought about Ewan, and I was surprised to remember that it's not in the main story at all, but remember when he first shows up here in Haima and tries to assassinate Kratos, he drops this ring that we should still have in our inventory. Assassin's Ring. With the initials U and M for Ewan and Martel, because they were actually engaged. So it's a quest where you learn about that, which kind of puts his feelings about Martel and why he wants to kind of let her die, because he recognizes that she's in a living hell in much starker relief. Makes him a much more sympathetic character, I think. Zool is next. Yeah, so for this reason, like what you were seeing in real time of my trying to pick up quests and missing them, this is why, if you haven't played a Tales game before, I'll tell you the typical flow, at least for me, and I would guess for many other players, is you play it once, you just go into it and experience it, and then it rolls you right into New Game Plus, and you look up and have a guide like printed out back in the day, or now just on your phone or computer sitting next to you telling you what you have to hit at what point in the story to make sure you don't miss anything. And that's how you play it the second time, when you know it's going to happen, but you also want to get everything that you missed when you were just experiencing it blind. Thank God, at least we get to still find Clara. I was worried this was going to be an embarrassment of failures for a second. Yes, of course, it's all about the New Game Plus bonuses. It does make it easier, so it's not like you're starting from scratch. So it's easier then to focus on all of the extra stuff that you missed the first time. I know it's a kindness ultimately to have saved her, and I'm happy that we did it, but it's very bittersweet and hard to feel totally good about it when you're bringing back her humanity in a world where her husband is dead and gone, her kid is dead and gone, like her entire life as a human has been decimated, even though now she is returning to it. Dor, you mean? Her husband, Governor General Dor. Yeah, I think, I definitely see him as flawed, but say what you will about him, he did try for sure to do what he could for Clara, which almost makes it sadder that he's not here to see her now. Yeah. Well, that's the sad thing about this game, right? Like, even the NPCs and some of the minor antagonists, if you want to call Dor an antagonist, like, they all seem to have really commendable intentions, but the world or their situation oftentimes just makes it the case where they're not able to follow through on it, which kind of puts the onus on Lloyd and his party to really do something remarkable by reshaping the entire world in the way that they do. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like exactly like we were talking about Mythos on the last stream, right? But I'll bet there's an exercise you could do and go through most of the NPCs, or at least like the bosses you fight, and tell a similar story about them. Yeah, sure. Or Pronema, big time Pronema vibes. All right. Yeah, I don't even know if I'd call Rodile purely evil, because he's almost like I read him as too simplistic to be purely evil. He's almost more of like a comic book villain, like, I'm just going to go around and scheme and build a cannon to blow up the world, and then I'll rule it, and everyone will have to respect me, right? Whereas Kavar is, I mean, that guy is sick, right? Talk about a guy who cannot really be redeemed. He's sort of like the immoral center of the universe. Alright. Clear out those. We weren't able to do the UN quest, sadly. Cross that off. Cross off Clara. Alright, we got a Zealous quest next. Back in Tavala. Thinking after this one, we'll have gotten a good number of little short stories under our belt, and then we can take a break and do Abyssion and the Devil's Arms. If I'd had more time, I really would have organized these side quests by the towns in which they start, because we're going back to Meltokio for this one. But hey, that makes it feel a little more organic, like we're wandering the world here, there, and everywhere. Crisscrossing the same places from every direction. To paraphrase Wittgenstein, because he lives rent-free in my head now ever since I did that giant Xenoblade Chronicles project. Alright, I'm going to Zelos' house. This is not Zelos' house. Why do I keep thinking it is? It's the second time I did that. Listen, honeys, please don't get us wrong. We all hate Zelos. We don't want to be traveling with him. Zelos got his master's degree in harem management from Meltokio University. So this is as good a time as any to tell people who are watching the stream who have not played the Tales games before. A huge part of the typical Tales post-game and side content is, as you've seen throughout the game, we've been collecting titles. There are some titles that have different costumes attached to them, so you'll have different moments or events with the characters and then get these different costumes that let them present differently throughout the story and in battle, and also just represent like a different aspect of their personality. So we have just gotten a wonderful masked variation of Zealous' costume from this scene. And that's the official new name of Zealous, and you will not be shortening it. The Honey Shield. Patent pending. It's the first costume we got. Gotta go with it. Hide that face. Well, good timing when Zealous is wearing a mask. You won't have to see his face after all. Missed opportunity that there's not a Sir Bud title for Lloyd. To the Grand Bridge. Catch another side quest on the way! Surprise, you're buried in side quests! I think this is another costume, too. The most noble perspective on cooking in the world. Regal, my man. You're the gift who keeps on giving. My god, what an opulent room for a cook-off. It's a good question, Lloyd. The answer is because we're in the postgame. And that's when you do things like take on renegade chefs in cooking challenges. Of all the mantles you thought Regal might inherit one day, was this on your bingo card? The Dark Chef Alliance. See, now that we've beaten Mythos, we can get down to rooting out the real villains of Silverhand to Tetheala. God of the kitchen. I don't know if I said this last time when I was gushing about my newfound appreciation for Regal, but I also, in my adult life, have gotten into cooking a lot and trying to become competent in my own kitchen, so I'm not always dining on takeout, just at the mercy of others for my sustenance, frankly. So his discipline being extended to the kitchen is something that resonates with me as much as the rest of his character. It's good to be handy with that stuff. And it is so much about the expression of heart. Yeah, thanks for stopping by. Feel free to drop in later if you want, or we'll hope to see you another day when we set off on the
Don't get
sequel.
in my way. That's it? I was just getting started.
Alright, we have a princess to save. Oh! Deception? From the Papal Knights? No, that would never happen. The side quests are great too because all those little characters who have touching moments but seem like support in the story where you don't expect to get that much of them, so many of them oftentimes come back in a set of Tales side quests. Like someone like Kate, right? She had her moment. She was clearly significant in terms of being the Pope's daughter, but I bet you probably forgot about her until now. I don't know that they talked in the main story about how Zealous' mother was killed by a half-elf. Unless I just forgot about it. This is another thing I've kind of appreciated about Zealous on this playthrough, when we've been talking about how he has a more nuanced character than at least initially meets the eye. right? Because if you go back and if you were to replay the game now, I mean, it might have stood out to you right away, but especially now with this context, like he is pretty aggressively anti-half-elf. Like, I think you could just call him a straight-up racist at the start of the game. And I do think as he spends time with the party and warms up to them and really gets on board with their mission, he kind of, like, he doesn't completely change as a person, but like he was just saying, talking with his servant, like he recognizes the failures of his views and tries to do better personally. I think the game does handle that in a more subtle way than you might expect. Is this the right way to go back in? There's so many ways in and out of this forest. Nope, the Mizuho is that side. And this is why we take the time to put up a to-do list, because without a guide on hand, we would have to wander all the way through that big labyrinth in the forest. Right, this is where we want. What a small, sad man. Every time you think he's maximally pathetic, he adds some other little detail to his character. And really just bitter that someone else has the seat he thinks he deserves himself. I think it's rather nice to be included as an attendant. Take some of the pressure off. You're not as responsible as someone like Duke Bryant. More outfits. This is part of what spurs me on to do the side quests at the end of these games too. there's so many characters who have these interesting storylines that are just dangling unfinished if you walk away. Like the Pope, right? I mean, he's kind of as vile and complicated as many of the other villains in the game, and he's just still out there unless you take the time to find and do this side quest and resolve his storyline. And in Tales of the Abyss, when I was working through those endgame side quests over the weekend, like, even more so than someone like the Pope, like there are some pretty major characters in that game where you just totally miss details about their past or what happens to them at the end, unless you find these pretty out of the way and convoluted side quests that they feature in. So it takes work, but it rewards the work, usually. Like, give up the ghost, man. Some things are not worth the effort. How's your wish, Sir Bud? Please, it's our job. They will literally fire us if we don't help you change. Oh, we got a trophy for that one? 10 titles for Lloyd. Go team. There's so many titles for each of the characters in these games. Which I love, because I mean, so many of them are attached to little stories or experiences that teach us more about the nuances of the characters, but especially if you take it upon yourself to get every single title, like that is an undertaking and will oftentimes end up feeling like a chore. I typically do not do that. Oh, Lloyd's companion. Who could that be? Oh, I guess we can actually decide. Well, I feel like last stream we really doubled down on the Regal-Lloyd relationship and exploring that through this playthrough, so if it ain't broke. And this will be a fun context in which to talk to him, since he is nobility after all. I'm sure I'll have some interesting views here. Just gauging how much time I have and what I have to say, I would estimate I could talk to between 2 and 3 of my friends. Who do we want to talk to? I'm gonna vote for the Tethealans. Let's do a round of the Tethealans. It is funny that they don't have a harem gathered around Zelos in this scene. Come on. Poor Lloyd is all dressed up and everything. Don't call him a bumcat. He's making an effort. As if he hadn't been wearing that title all along. Regal was the man who knew too much about this situation, after all. Okay. That was a longer side quest than I remembered, but we can cross it off the infinite list now. And I think the much ballyhooed Devil's Arms is a nice next one to do. Although, this wasn't on my list, but since poor Kate did go through that whole poisoning thing just now, I think we should stop by Cybeck on the way and see if we can get a scene with her. Some kind of closure to her arc. Stop by the inn and replenish items too, since I keep forgetting to do that. Oh, then maybe I shouldn't be repurchasing a lot of items if I want to have a fighting chance of restoring Lewin. I hadn't thought of that. We'll hang on to our hard-earned gold for now, then. Okay, to Cybeck. Guess who's not? Why we came here? We can't ignore a child in need. Oh, these people are all great. Speaking of prejudices. I was thinking about that last stream too, actually. Just how much starker the discrimination is in Tetheala. Almost like as a civilization prospers, there's more disparity between people across just all dimensions of identity, which I guess is naturally conducive to that. It's one way to read the game, at least, I think. So it's really in a lot of the side quests that we get the redemption for Zelos. At least a lot more of the quiet but positive attributes of his character. Kid's not afraid to speak up, despite his station in life. Gotta respect that. It's not easy. Good guy Zealous, ladies and gents. It's a very Tales of the Abyss sentiment to come out of the token redhead in Tales of Symphonia. The main character of Tales of the Abyss is a redhead who, let's just say, goes through some similar things. I was really hoping Kate would be here. Oh, that's a bit of a busco. We'll have to look up later if we can find her again or not, I don't remember. Alright, well for now, we're gonna do the Devil's Arms quest, which means we take the ones that we stumbled upon over the course of the game and use our trusty guide to collect the other ones, and then return to that gentleman of mission who was looking to cure his family curse, or something to that effect, in Flanor, way back when we started on that particular adventure. Good news is, I think one of them is very close to here in the Garachia Forest, if I remember right. So we saw it back before we had the key to actually be able to open the chest. There it is. Hey, welcome. Honestly, there's not that much to catch you up on this time because we're just working through side quests, so you missed a few of those. But definitely go back and watch the VOD after. I think the only one that was kind of a bit of closure to something from earlier in the main story was we found Clara, the Governor General's wife from Palmacosta, who had been turned into like an extra monster. We found and healed her. But other than that, no, it's mostly been just a few side quest adventures with Presea. We found some of her like old acquaintances whom she used to babysit back in Ozat before everything happened that like froze Presea in time. So it was a nice little touching extension to that. We just went through some interesting exercises with Zelos, where he kind of showed us how he was overcoming his own discrimination and racism and trying to figure out how to make Tetheala a better place, and put an end to the Pope's machinations at last, took him into custody. And we found the one optional summon spirit in the game, Maxwell, who is the spirit of like fundamental particles and matter, and we made a pact with him. I think you are now caught up, more or less. And now we're collecting the Devil's Arms, those evil weapons from throughout the world, to see that quest through. Yeah, it was nice to revisit. I was saying it was kind of bittersweet to bring Clara back to a world where her husband and child were gone and there wasn't that much left for her. But it was interesting because we did that right after this quest with Presea that was kind of reinforcing how she was looking back on her past but recognizing that she couldn't go back to who she was before everything else happened, and so she was just reminiscing from a distance but still recognizing that she needed to move forward. So it was very natural to kind of then take that perspective and apply it to Clara and hope at least that she could figure out a way to do the same. If Presea has a bad feeling, we should be nervous. Okay, so the real question is, how many of these did Aaron fail to pick up? And how long a fetch quest are we gonna have? I think I got a decent number of them. It was one game, I think just one. I think Tales of Vesperia, where the very first time I played it, I managed to snag them all in one go. Which, as it happens, is actually, if there's a game for you to do that in, it kind of is Tales of Vesperia because they tie in with the main plot in a more direct way than the other games do. But man, it is always a bit of a job to find them. Alright, I'll consult my list here. We have Fafnir. Do we have the Gates of Hell? I think that's a card for Shima. No, I don't see Gates of Hell. Okay, looks like we're going back to the Temple of Earth. Let's do it. Vesperia is one that, I mean, they're all on my list to replay, so I should really stop saying that. But it's one that I'm excited to give another chance because I remember being really excited for it the first time I played it because it's so beloved within the fan base. Like, it's many people's favorite. And I couldn't figure out how to connect with it. But I really want to give it another chance, and I also know it's one of the later ones that has like story-based DLC, so I find myself wondering whether that will add into the value and impact of it. But I did, yeah, thank you for asking. It was a mellow Easter holiday over here. Just hung out with my doggy and worked through the postgame like we're doing now for Tales of Symphonia, for Tales of the Abyss, for the article that I'm still working on. And didn't have any Easter chocolate, which is usually my main thing as someone who's not especially religious. But I did, my ex one year got me this very silly like Peeps shirt for the Marshmallow chick brand Peeps. So I wore that on Sunday, and I had some shopping and errands to run, and many people were very vocal about being fans of that, so it was nice to have an outfit for the occasion at least. What about you? Did you enjoy the holiday? Get up to anything in particular? Boy, I'll tell you, this was a freebie that we just had, because if we had missed or forgotten about one of those gnomelets on our crazy journey romping through the three worlds, it would have been much more of a chore to figure out which one we had missed and where to get them before we could get to this chest with a devil's arm in it. And also this dragon.
Do not bother us.
Yeah, so that dragon, like we were talking earlier about on the stream, there's a way to, I think, use it in combination with a few other like abilities or something to get an outsized amount of gold pretty quickly. So if we decide we want to do the quest of rebuilding Lewin all the way, we can come back here and I think be decently efficient with it. That sounds chill in the best of ways. Yeah, my family usually gets together for a meal too. That is one of the things that I missed living on my own and not close by with them at the moment. My dad was actually, speaking of being out there and about, my dad is on a trip right now to Italy. Shout out to the old man for some hiking, and now he's just visiting some cities. So he's actually in like the Holy Roman Empire, I guess if you want to call it that, for Easter. Or he happened to be last year too, because he was also doing hiking, and he stopped to do Easter in Florence, which he said was just unbelievable. So some of the Sudoku clan had epic Easter adventures. Mine was more mellow and year speed. Did you play anything good for gaming? What's next here? Altamira. What's next? Yeah, like what a cool just cultural thing, right? I mean, I didn't even realize it until my dad told me, although I've heard about it in many places since, actually, because I've gotten to know a few Italian people, and I mean, Easter, as you might imagine, is huge in Italy, so it really is kind of a special experience to be able to do something so intrinsic to many aspects of a culture in the place of that culture. Bomberman I've certainly heard of. Zone of the Enders? You're gonna have to tell me about that. I don't think I've ever heard of that. It's a very cool name, though. Onimusha 3, I think I saw you tweet about that, but that's another one that I had never heard of and don't know anything about, so... Give me the pitches, tell me why to play. Huh? Well, you had me at Kojima, and then only further sold me with feels very Evangelion. Okay, I'll definitely have to check that out. My knowledge of Kojima is tragically lacking, so it'd be a good excuse to bone up. Tales of Symphonia, advocating being dairy-free years before it was cool. They didn't even have oat milk back then to recommend as a viable alternative. So for keeping track of tropes, and Chrissy, for your benefit, the one other thing that I kind of gave background on before you got on was a big part of like the post-game and optional content in the Tales games is finding titles that have specific outfits or costumes attached to them for the different characters. And there are some that are recurring throughout the games, like the formal attire that we got from the dinner party at the end of the Zealous quest. That's a set that oftentimes shows up. And a spa adventure that ends in usually spa outfits, I think. I think that's where this is going. That shows up in pretty much all the games too. I was literally just doing the corresponding quest in Tales of the Abyss, I think yesterday. Feudal samurai story? That does sound very cool. Well, especially as I'm spending my non-JRPG time grinding through Wolong. Team Ninja has definitely made me bullish on all that kind of historical fiction, samurai, swordsmanship stuff. Neo was great for that. And a new outfit for Regal, speaking of. And also, why is he in handcuffs? When they hit you with that Regal theme. I think Zealous is in the best position to say that. He has reason to know more about it than so many other people, so. Yeah, right? Feeling it. Some of the outfits are always really outlandish and weird and colorful, but some of them, I discover them and I say to myself, man, wish I could have had the character playing with it through the whole game. And you know why they do that? It's because then you do New Game Plus, and if you carry over the titles, you can have them playing with it the whole game. Someone just decided to write Lloyd as like twice as stupid as he otherwise is in this particular side quest. I apologize on behalf of my dog. The Duke. Now to remember why we were actually here. Also, I don't know if that was the Hot Springs quest after all. I might be confusing things since it didn't open up in the way I was expecting it to. An Eevee kids. It's a pretty good idea. I would have to get several across the entire apartment because if you could see her, you would also see that when she gets all in a tither about something, her little legs go at Mach 5 and she just runs around the entire apartment. So it would need something set up with like motion sensors that trigger the appropriate camera whenever she runs into that field of view. But see, then people would just want to watch that instead of me streaming. So it'd probably be more popular, but it would be a different kind of stream. Oh shoot, I totally forgot to plug in my computer, so you'll have to excuse me for one moment while I get that cord, or it will be a very abrupt end to the stream. Just in the nick of time. I can't show you on cam, but if you could see, she has popped over to the right side of my green screen and is looking very needy and put out by the fact that Dad is doing something that does not involve her. Telling you, gotta get one of those Bjorns. That's the solution. But she would hate it. Oh, that's annoying. Yeah, so I was reading about this in the original GameCube version of the game, the one I grew up on. This guy, he curses his bad luck at the casino, and he says it's his kendama's fault, but he has it on the bridge, and he's gonna, like, throw it off, and you can either buy it from him or take it from him, and it's one of the devil's arms. But now, because that was too easy, they make it instead that you have to get it as a prize from the casino. But I'm hoping we can just purchase it without having to play a lot of casino games, because that is never my favorite part of a JRPG, even though developers more often than not find a way to shoehorn it in. I still remember, like, in spite of myself, I got so into doing everything in Final Fantasy 13-2, which is not a good game, but it's bad in interesting ways. But it's also a game with many different possible endings, and some of them are pretty arcane in terms of the steps you have to take in order to unlock them. And I remember, I think it was for one of the endings and not just for a trophy, like, you literally just had to do something in the casino that no human would ever want to do, like play a certain number of hours or win a certain amount of money or something. And so, genuinely, the way that people would do it, including myself, was like tape down the relevant button on your controller so that you would just keep inputting to, like, play slots on the casino or something, and just leave it there for hours. Because that's a well-designed game, right? One that makes you feel like you have to do that in order to complete it. Ooh. At least, as you can see, I'm clearly over it now. I want to see how expensive this kendama is first. Now I'm looking for the prizes. Oh, over here? No. Oh, there it is. Devil's Plaything, that's what it is, okay. Oh, so we need 250 chips. Gross. Well, we might as well burn some of these gems. See, my reasoning is, for the stream, I would rather we keep our money for rebuilding Lewin, since that's a thing you can do, and that feels really good after the designs decimated it. And for New Game Plus, shop that gives you different perks to go into the game with is based on your grade in battles, and so giving away that grade is something I would rather not do. Whereas EX gems, yeah, they're valuable, yeah, they're useful. You can carry them over, but you want to do the Devil's Arms quest, and it's easier than playing a bunch of slots and stuff. And I don't want to give them the satisfaction, if I'm being honest. Alright. Now give me that kendama. Well, it is annoying, and honestly, like, I'm all the more annoying because they went out of their way to make it this kind of side quest when they, like, remade and remastered the game, since it wasn't initially that kind of thing. Like, I don't even know what the thought process was there. Except that, to the best of my recollection, there's no other reason that you would go in the casino, and so maybe someone really felt like, oh, we should entice them to try out this casino since we put the time into making it. The payoff for this overall side quest is pretty great, though, so it's worth it, trust me. Ooh. Haunted weapons that talk to you. One of my favorite spooky JRPG things. That has to come from, like, mythology proper, because that comes up everywhere. I don't know which tradition, though. Man, oh, that's going to annoy me now, because that got me thinking about, like, there's a particular game where not all of the items, but some of them are, like, possessed by spirits, and they'll talk to you, and like, you can make the weapon get stronger, and as it grows stronger, the spirit also, like, gains more sentience, and thereby makes you stronger as you wield the item, but for the life of me, I can't remember what game that was, if it was like Neo, or I don't think Nier. Nier has really interesting things with the stories behind the items, and they're each like their own little interesting short story, but I don't think they're sentient in that way. Oh, that's really gonna bug me. I'm sure I'll think of it later, or I might just have to look it up. I'm still missing a couple, but I have to look. Nebulum, Fafnir, Disaster, Gates of Hell, Diablos. You have Diablos. Apocalypse. Looks like we don't have the Soul Eater, which I think is back in Silver Hunt. We can go there next. Looks like the guide I pulled from didn't necessarily list all of the Devil's Arms locations in an accessible order, which I'm only now discovering, excuse me, so might have to do some supplementary research on the fly here. Okay, back to Silver. This is the problem when I'm in sidequesting mode. I see an NPC who looks awkwardly out of place and is clearly waiting to start a sidequest, and I can't just walk by them. That's gotta be one. I see you're one of those. Alright, so we found two. Yeah, there were a couple in the side quest I mentioned with Persea where she's like uncovering these details of her past and people she used to know in OZ. And it was a similar situation with Lloyd where the options are either to inquire after what her history is with those people or just say like, Persea, let's go, or we have to move. I don't think I would ever have the heart to pick those options. Yeah, but it's worse with quests like these because they do advance the story. They just decimate your relationships between Lloyd and these characters. If I were a kid, I would probably go to an amusement park. No, that's not true. If I were a kid, I would be in the corner somewhere playing video games, but... If I were a kid in this fictional world in the context of Altamira, well, I guess it's Disneyland adjacent. I could walk part of Disneyland. I don't trust that kid to go back home. Look at that. It's a very Disney world. One more. Maybe in the hotel? Not on this floor. Ah, you look like Alaska. But you will only listen to a charming man. Is Regal charming? I don't want to give Zealous the satisfaction. Lame. Genus? Don't know why I even tried with Genus. Lloyd? It's gotta be Zealous. That makes me sad. Well, we got it done. Kidding me? We have to go back to that girl at the amusement park anyways? I did talk to her multiple times. Which means you literally have to leave and just have her stay there and then go back and berate her. Ah, this game. So many people to help before we get to the devil's arms. I truly have no idea why I was even entertaining the idea that we'd be able to get through all of the interesting side content in 3 hours. I mean, I'm looking at the list of ideas I put together for things to do, and we are such a paltry percentage of the way through. Although a lot of these other things are pretty short scenes, so I think we're making some progress. Might be worth at least one other stream. Or just, you know, call it a week for side quests and then we start the sequel next week. That might be a nicer cadence to things. Well, we'll figure it out. Swimsuit costumes, another staple. We've determined this for the entire playthrough. It is Regal. The once and final companion. I would be playing the game multiple times, a million times for a million reasons, as I've said, but even with that taken for granted, it does bug me a little bit with these costume sets, like the swimsuits or the formal attire. You can only get them for a certain number of characters in a given playthrough. Like the ones who went out on the beach now are the only ones who are going to get their titles, and then you have to go through it another time and make sure you carry over your titles from the first playthrough in order to get the requisite titles for the other characters and have everyone match in their costumes. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Especially after we just went through all the motions of saving the world and the high drama and stakes of that. It adds another dimension to their relationships and relationship with the world, I think. Oh, I love that. There's so many great places to hang out in 9. Even I forget the name of the city, but the whole district where you can just go around, like challenging people to that stupid card game that I never wanted to play, but it did add a nice slice of life element to the world. Boyd, I'm still wearing handcuffs. How would you expect me to swim? Love it. Oh, he loves it too. What a great little flourish of flavor to Regal's character. Quietly loves being buried in the sand. I could see there being something almost comforting about it. Now we can go back to Silverrun to get that Devil's Arm. It is right here in Tria. I thought it was one of these merchants who had it. No. Not playing your minigames. I'm on a more important quest right now. Okay, I guess that was just a stop to get that one piece of dialogue to activate the quest. And we also have to hit the man next to the Oasis. There we go. We got the full mythos of the sandworm, which I believe is the keeper of one of the devil's arms. Alright. And now our new dear friend the sandworm should be waiting for us outside. Ah, that looks suspicious. So why are we displaying the zones? None of that, no thank you.
Wow, it's big.
Big ol' worm.
Ready?
We need that worm you ate a long time ago. Nothing personal.
Ready? Do not think ill of us.
Ooh, got an Aldivide too. That's a good get. That is a good question. All the other ones are in Tefeala. Maybe just happen to be in Triet when the worlds were separated? Way back when? That's the best explanation I can pick up off the top of my head. Alright. Now I gotta look up the other locations. Because I was only half prepared and didn't double check what I was copying and pasting into my sidequest document. Otherwise I would have seen, oh, it's not pointing out all the locations of the Devil's Arms. Oh, I think that was the last one, actually. I was just expecting a scene or something, but I guess there's no reason Abishan would come and talk to us, because he's over in Tefeala. I'll just double check for my own sanity. Alright, so we have the Evil Eye. Check. That's one. Nebula, 2. Fafnir, 3. Soul Eater, 4. Gates of Hell, 5. Diablos is 6. Apocalypse is 7. Disaster. Oh no, we're missing the Gates of Hell. Okay. No, not Gates of Hell. Heart of Chaos. Those sound the same in my head for some reason. Okay, but we have to go back to Flanor and talk to Abishan first. All these loops and roundabouts. How would you naturally be able to finish this quest if you were just exploring the game without outside aids? I'm not contesting that it's possible, but it does seem pretty unlikely. I don't even know whether I did it for the first time back in the day without any assistance. I would be surprised. Never been that good at uncovering these organic, really long side quests in games. I love them, and I'll always be all the more delighted when I do happen to stumble upon one, but it's rare, especially in these older games that delightfully do so little to direct your attention to whatever the next step in them is. Yeah, hello? Ooh, that's not creepy at all. To Hakanesia Peak. Hakanesia Peak in Silverone? I think it is. So 2 of them made it over into Silverone. Interesting. Yeah, I think Kotan was the guy who wanted the Spiritua statue way back in the day. If you can pick all the way back to the Journey of Regeneration. When the fake Chosen group stole the book from Spiritua's Journey. We had to get the statue of Spiritua in order to read from the book. Ugh. See, this is all one game, but I feel like pulling out those memories from the beginning of it is like a radical archaeological task in my brain. There's too much to keep track of, dude. Yep. Raising the question, of course, whom did she receive it from? Him? Rain, tell us what you're talking about. Oh, now I'm gonna have to go and see if there's a side quest that talks more about that, because I don't remember. The teeny little threads in these games, I swear. File this under side quests that Aaron would never do. Complete the collector's guide with literally every item in the game. You're right, Cotton. I would not accomplish that. Don't say that you need to know too, Chrissy. Now I'm really gonna have to go figure it out. I'm sure there's something somewhere that elaborates on it. I'll look it up after this stream, and maybe we can prioritize it on our Wednesday adventure. I think it is a good item that we can get for 100k from him, but I want to work on rebuilding Lewin. In fact, while we're back in Silverone, before we wrap up the Devil's Arms quest, let's go to Lewin and start that process. That'll be nice. Still just as devastating, but good news is now we're here to fix it and improve it. Help Pietro make good on his promise to restore it. Any more weird typos in the text boxes of this game than I remembered? I wonder whether that was like a corruption that was added in the remaster, or if I just totally forgot about that when it was in the original as well. See, this is an example of one of those side quests where it's very helpful to have a guide because, like many town reconstruction quests in JRPGs, it hits certain thresholds once you donate or invest a certain amount in it, and you have to actually leave the town and go back in before that registers and makes the next upgrade available. And so if you don't know what the thresholds are, or like have a guide that's telling you, you can very easily overspend exponentially in terms of how much money is required. Love that ethos. And now we leave. And now we go back. Now we do 12K. And now we leave. Really fun gameplay to watch, huh? It will be fun when we can start gradually seeing improvements. So see, people are showing up now. Gradually. That's because we donated money. I think there are supposed to be 3 such people. That was 1. Yeah, I kind of felt let down by that similarly as well. Almost like it promised to be more somehow, because I remember when I first discovered, like, oh, Link can have a house in this game and you can furnish it the way you want to, like, I felt like it was leading up to something where it would feel like a home base and you would want to go back there, but it just kind of ended up being this one of many artifacts in the overworld of Breath of the Wild. I think I decorated it once and then never returned to it. That was 12K. Oh, I don't know if I had to leave again, but better safe than sorry. $21,500 next. Pietro, we're not made of money. Yeah, it was definitely a memorable village. Although, I don't know, like you say Tarrytown, and I can immediately visualize that, and I have nice memories of building that and investing in it, and the Tino village, not so much. I mean, I remember it, but not as vividly, you know. Alright. 15,000. Should be enough to bring a doggy back here. Speaking of doggies. Yeah, I love that. In the original Xenoblade Chronicles, there's a very similar sort of thing you can do where there's a town or a colony that's similar to this in terms of being, let's say, in dire need of redevelopment because of things that happen. And as you gradually develop it, like the music, it's like a gradual orchestral build where it's like so subtle you don't even notice it happening, but it gradually goes from like just bland sort of desolate background music to, by the end of it, this really triumphant orchestration of everyday life. Beautiful. It really makes you feel as though you've helped them to accomplish something worthwhile. Lucky! Worth investing in the town just for lucky. Thankfully, we still have funds to spare. We'll keep on going. $20,000 is next. And now 25. Oh, and that's cool. If you look even at the model of the city, you can see the wooden frames and how things are starting to get rebuilt. I love that. You know it's just monetary donations, but I feel like just the sheer magnitude of what you have to donate and how incremental it is goes further than you might expect for a game like this in terms of just capturing and representing the effort that would be required in order to rebuild a town that was so utterly decimated. Did 25k last time, I think. I'm reaching the point in the list where now I start to lose track. But I think next is 30. Oh, I hope I didn't miss a decimal point last time, like I just did. Well, let's try this. I might have gotten my signals crossed in terms of how much to donate. Well, let's see. No, we're good. The music was supposed to change that time, so we are on track. Speaking of music changing as you redevelop the town. Okay, we have enough for one more level. Wait, what do you mean cheesing it? Did I cheese something? I don't understand what you mean. Oh, yeah, well, this is one of those things also where, like, if you're working on these side quests as they become available over the course of the game, like if we weren't just plowing through the main story, it's more believable, believable, because like different levels of development in the city open up and become available at different points in the story where you would naturally end up back here. So, but yes, when you're doing it in the end game in a matter of moments, it's a little bit more of a willing suspension of disbelief. Also, though, I will say, as someone who has more background than the average bear in construction, it's like you say cheesing it, but also so much of the speed at which construction gets done is just like the capital invested into it. And so I don't find it that unbelievable that pouring this unbelievable amount of money into the town would make things happen kind of like that. I don't have a great answer for that, except really for the fact that, well, I was going to say except for the fact that I was playing this for the first time in a long time and I wanted to just, like, experience the main story, but I think even if I were playing it on my own for the first time in a while, I would have romped around the world and explored a lot more side quests as I went. So I think more of it was just the fact that I was streaming it as like the first game that I had ever streamed, and so I think I wanted to focus on the main story for that, and I also was worried that, you know, if I were going off in a million directions on my first stream, I would get distracted or lose focus or something like that. Now I think, you know, we roll into the sequel, Tales of Symphonia 2, and since we've already started on this streaming journey together, it might be easier to pop around and explore some of the side content as we go. But, I don't know, it just felt like going through it with people for the first time and digesting the main story all at once was the right way to do it. But as we go through all the side content now, I'm not sure that was the right play. Yeah, I mean, we're in a fictional world, right, where they, like, don't even have access to crazy modern construction stuff. Like, oh my god, the efficiency with which you can launch entire skyscrapers now, it's unbelievable. Oh, good. Well, thank you. I'm glad it came off that way. That was kind of my hope. And I also feel like, you know, when you're, I mean, I'm glad that you feel that way because I don't really watch a lot of streams, and so I wasn't sure whether my instincts were on the money. But my feeling was, you know, if I stop by like a With a Terrible Fate stream that wants to focus on and explore the story, like, it's kind of a weird oxymoron, right? Because yes, it's true that so much of video game storytelling is done in the side quests and all the optional content, but also if you're really trying to work through and digest a story with someone else in this kind of conversational setting, especially when the stories are as long as a JRPG, I feel like you risk losing some of that plot if you keep going off of that beaten path for other things. Is that just Abyssion's character sprite repurposed for someone else? So it could be his brother if that's not the same guy. All right. I'm gonna cross off those items of the rebuilding that we already did so that when we get more money, if we decide to go back to that, I'm not utterly lost at where we were in the donation process, because I could definitely see that happening. And let's go round out the Devil's Arms quest. Oh, actually I lied. There's a little short quest, and it's really meaningful and heartwarming to me, and I loved back in the day, and I think we should be able to do it now, so I want to see if we can. Hoping we didn't get locked out of it somehow. Excellent. Isn't this just the best? You know, back in the day, I never made that connection, but yeah, absolutely. I mean, of course this is Ninetales, now you say that. Great point. And harkens back to what we were talking about many streams ago in terms of JRPGs kind of having a mythology all their own that draws from traditions across the global family of mythologies. Oh. Well, that too. It's common source, right? Yeah, that's true. The Pokemon mythos encompasses all others within it. I love so many things about that, and it's such a raw and emotional moment that I don't even know how worth it is to over-intellectualize it. But we can try! No, but, I mean, so great that Corinne comes back at all, but then the idea that he learned from and absorbed all the strength of heart that Sheena and her friends attached to him, so that even as Sheena was being strengthened by her friends to be able to overcome Volt and her past, that was directly feeding into the sort of fortitude that we see throughout everyone in the game, so much so that it actually gives birth to this new summoned spirit of heart. But then also, like they don't even talk about this, but how cool is it that this man-made summon spirit, Corinne, who was made in a lab and had such an uncomfortable relationship with humans and elves and half-elves for that reason, right, is able to be reborn as the special summon spirit who understands people without being bound to them when he says, I will take no pact, but I will always walk alongside you as long as you have hearts. It's just such a beautiful way to give Corinne's character a new life and that kind of happy ending, and to force Sheena to continue growing, right? Like, no, you can't have your fluffy little companion back, the cutie who saved you from Volt, but you can have something different and richer and something more authentic for both parties in the relationship. Love it so much. Now we go back to Tafeala. Jeez, if I can find the base. Why is it hiding from me all of a sudden? There we go. Alright, Temple of Shadow, here we come. How are we doing on items? I should check. I'm gonna call that good. Feels like so long ago now that we were here for the first time, forming those pacts with all the summon spirits. Back when we thought that releasing the mana ties between worlds would save everything, as opposed to making the giant tree go bonkers.
I don't care what
That's it? How's this getting started?
Alright, time to seal the darkness away. I'm sure nothing will go wrong. Huh. Well, that took a turn. Time to beat the devil. Oh, his boss theme is the same as Sheena's. That's fun. Oh. Oh no, he's strong. Rain, you were too slow. You're gonna heal me, you gotta be faster about it. Why am I doing like no damage to him? I think something is wrong with Sheena's kit. Let's see if I try a different weapon. Oh, I forgot I had these rings equipped. Maybe that's doing something. Let's see if that fixed it.
Suffer.
She's still dealing 1 damage to him. What is going on? What about an elemental card like that? Does that make a difference? No? Just literally don't understand what would be causing this.
Healing circle. Here.
The good news is he has a ton of HP.
New power. Try this! Mirage Infliction!
Well, it's a mystery. Just gonna hope that we can get it done with one of our party members being totally useless.
Be careful. Careful. Damn. Ready? Nurse. Messed up.
Honestly, I'm just gonna let him kill Regal and see if we can try this with a different character. I have no idea what is happening with Sheena. And like, if we fight regular monsters,
I don't care.
she can deal damage. Yeah, she can deal normal damage against monsters. I wonder if it was just a weird glitch or something. I can think of no reason why she would be so useless against Edition.
That was disappointing.
Let's see if I swap in Lloyd, if we can get some regular damage going at least. Then we can worry about actually being able to be competent in the fight. Alright, take two. Wish they had a skip scene button too. If I can hit him... Okay, I do actual damage now, so... He's still brutal, and I still think we might be under-leveled if I'm being honest, but... At least we have an actual chance now. Oh, Jesus. It is not going better. Oh, wow. I really missed the timing on that. I thought I was going to cut off his attack. Do you mean in general, or just during that last scene? Because, I mean, I was intentionally putting through that scene just because we had already seen it. No pun intended. But I can try to slow down if I'm being too fast in general.
Sorry, did I hit you?
Got it. No, that's really helpful feedback. Don't be afraid to shout out at me the first time you notice stuff like that, because it's very easy for me to slow myself down a little bit. Fuck you, dude. Come on. Yeah, absolutely. No, that's why you gotta be vocal, because I'm sure I'm even unconsciously increasing my speed just because even if I feel like I'm reading the lines for the first time, they're deeply embedded in my brain. So I totally understand that. Dude! Jesus Christ. I'm gonna lose my shit.
Healing circle.
I'm getting healed and massacred at the same time. About 25% there. That's not great. Great. How'd I miss that? That's annoying. It is nice they added captions for lines like that in the middle of battle. Definitely makes them much more legible. Jesus Christ! I'm gonna lose this. Alex! Don't make me come over there. If I could get enough of my party up on its feet for enough time, we might be able to stage a comeback. Not counting us out yet. Alright. We might have a shot. Got everyone back. I will have made the battle go slower because I cut all damage dealt and received in half, but that's really the only way we can get through this. If Rain can stay alive... Yeah, no, that was clear. I'm confused. Are there other things that a chat can do? I thought that was the default reaction type. No, I'm kidding. I'm actually very grateful for most of the people in this chat. Alex! Because there have been many a great contribution. Okay, alright, we're getting a rhythm, and of course then he goes over limit. Death is inevitable. For you! All I want to do is juggle the Mega Boss. God. It's his melees, I think, that really get me. The spells are, they also suck, but they can kind of be interrupted. Running out of life bottles. Jesus Christ. I literally don't have time to wait for you to revive me. Thought that was the end of his combo. No, Bishan is never done with his combos. God, not even halfway. Gotta love his attacks, he can very easily just step out of at least. Why is that not hitting him?
Help is on the way.
Definitely should have interrupted that. But that's cool. It's not like I expect the game to play fair. Why would a game play fair? That would remove all the fun. Yeah, that's how I actually feel. Oh my god, he couldn't even turn around to block a Bishan the right way. Oh, this is my last life bottle. If I die, then I'm gonna have to actually take the time to properly build out the kit of a party, because I definitely was winging this, so I felt like I could. Good, Persei is dead, good. We don't have life bottles. Good, he's casting Meteor Storm now. That's great. Just wreck us with meteors. That's great. This is the end. Yep, yep, yep.
Destroy all. Suffer. Absolute pathetic. No one will be able to.
Okay, I'm gonna try one more time, and then I'm gonna give up for the night, and we'll try it again tomorrow, after I angrily grind off stream, because this guy's pissing me off. You wouldn't believe me if I told you that I beat this superboss analog in Tales of the Abyss, who has almost 3 times as much HP and more spells and garbage to throw at you. Literally yesterday, the first time I confronted her. But it's true, I promise. I also just put a little more effort into that party of mine. So we're going to try to do that now with this. Seems good. I'm gonna try this and try throwing an all divide right away. See if that helps. And if not, try again next time. These bosses are a lot to manage because if you couldn't tell from the battle, just the chaos of him whooping our ass. We collect all the Devil's Arms, right? And then he gets access to all of those and really all of the techniques of our entire party at once. So that's part of what makes him so versatile and hard to manage.
My true
Throw that all divide. It's not a cure-all, but maybe it'll help. If we can just get better at juggling him. At least we hit that this time. That seems auspicious. Oh, I gotta throw out magic ones too. Wow.
too late.
Versailles has a glass cannon.
It's inevitable.
Healing circle! External devastation! Thank you!
Suffer. Heal.
I wish there were a way to make it harder for him to go into over limit, but I don't think that exists.
Ready? Revitalize! Field barrier!
It's inevitable.
That was my fault. I was not watching Wood's health.
Healing circle! Healing circle!
Destroy all. Take that.
Mr. Eagle's voice cue lets us know when Priscilla dies.
Resurrection!
It's inevitable.
Love it when guard timing works out, at least. Yep. Well, that did not work out. Alright. Quarter of the way. Take a breath. Large when he starts casting Meteor again.
Are you okay?
Jesus Christ. I think they made that unison attack harder to land. There's no way they had anywhere near that much trouble with it back when I was playing as a kid.
It's inevitable.
Healing circle.
Destroy all. Static. Suffer.
Healing circle.
Destroy all.
Okay, I guess if you do anticipate his combo, you can kind of get away from it. Of course, nothing can stop Persea from dying, besides that. Swear to God.
It's inevitable.
Ran into that. Wasted a gel on Persea. At least she caught the revitalize.
Destroy all. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. Destroy all. It's inevitable. It's inevitable.
I'm gonna lose my mind at that unison attack, I swear.
It's inevitable. It's inevitable. What? It's inevitable.
Thought that was going for Jesus. Great. Great. Good. 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 We're over halfway. Cool. Everyone but our healer died at the same time. Good. I love this.
Destroy all! Destroy all! Destroy all! Suffer! Stop this! Destroy all!
Love it when they trap you so you can't get out of something like that. That was fair and balanced.
Stop this!
Dazed, so we couldn't do anything about that. That's great.
Stop this!
They all just walked into the indignation sphere and got massacred by it. You're out of life bottles.
Stop this! No one will be able to defy me!
Alright, well, we're really enjoying the side quests. That was great. I guess we're gonna do more next time, and we'll just leave this be for the moment. I'm not mad. That's part of the experience. But goes to show how much we were breezing through the main story, because otherwise, by this point, we would be good to go with a super boss like that. But that's why it's super, and that's what makes it such a fun quest to finish. So, but my seething aside for being mowed down 3 times by a boss that I beat countless times, at least 9, one for each of the Devil's Arms, back when I was a kid. I hope you had fun going through the optional side of Tales of Symphonia. There's definitely a ton here, most of which is not as pull your hair out frustrating as Abyssion in that last little bit. Yeah, that's right, it's all about the challenge, especially when you're on fucking... what? Normal mode? At least they don't call it easy. That would be really debilitating to my ego. But that's part of it. We will recalibrate and go on more adventures and try again. There's definitely enough here to merit another day or two of this before we jump into the sequel. So thank you for enjoying the game with its full palette of emotions, similar to what Various, was that the name of Corinne when he turned into the Summoned Spirit of Heart? Anyway, similar to what the Summoned Spirit of Heart said about the full palette of the emotions and the heart, we got to see all sorts of emotional reactions, let's say, on this stream. So I hope you enjoyed it. It was so fun, as always, going through this game and adventure with you. We will be back and probably starting with other side quests and trying to work our way back to Abyssion with a little bit better equipment and hopefully a higher level on Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern. So show up, have a good time. We'll talk more video game storytelling, conquer some enemies who mowed us down this time. Count on it. Yeah, thank you for watching, guys. Cheers. I hope you enjoyed it. And come back on Wednesday. It'll be a good time, no matter what may happen or not happen.